right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Cassidy Wood. The guys are on their way back from Ireland as we speak. They're scheduled to get in early tomorrow morning. And man, what a game we saw this morning, so many hours ago, over there in Dublin. I'm joined alongside Mark Kaboly. And Mark, I think one thing Steelers fans can walk away from this game feeling a little happier about is this run game actually coming out today, actually producing some positive yardage for this team, and Kenny Gainwell just stepping up big in the absence of Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, Cassidy, when Jaylen Warren was ruled out, 90 minutes before the start of the game, it's kind of surprised everybody. And at that point, you're like, where's this offense going to come from right now? Because they, of course, wanted to run the ball. And the offensive line hasn't actually produced enough holes as of late to be able to have a smaller guy like Kenny Gainwell to be able to gain some yards. So it didn't look promising early on. But, the offensive line easily played their best game of the season, pushed some guys around, and Kenny Gainwell was probably player of the game. And who would have thought that, maybe 24 hours ago?
Yeah, and reassuring too. They played pretty much mistake-free when it comes to the penalties. Their kind of kryptonite last season and through these first couple games has been the personal fouls or the pre-snap penalties. And thankfully they got away tonight, or this morning, I should say, kind of scot-free with those, which is a really positive sign. Also, it gave a chance to open up this pass game. DK Metcalf was hit a couple more times for targets than he has been in the past. Kind of the narrative this week, we were asking about DK, why is he not being used more? And obviously the response from the coaching staff was, well, it's a schematic issue. Sometimes just that option is not there. But today, clearly it was there, an 80-yard touchdown for DK Metcalf. So that connection with Aaron Rodgers and DK looks like it's getting a little bit more ironed out.
Yeah, especially in this game here, early in that game when he had that 80-yarder, they just took advantage of a little mispositioning by some of the inside linebackers. And DK Metcalf is good enough. And when you think of DK Metcalf, you're thinking a guy can go down the field. But that's never been the case since he's arrived here in Pittsburgh in March. They pretty much knew from the beginning he was going to be a catch-and-run type of guy. And you saw that come to fruition here early in this game. It was just a simple crossing pattern. Aaron Rodgers hit him between – well, there's no between, hit him on the number 4, and he was able to be fast enough, quick enough, strong enough to be able to turn that into an 80-yard touchdown, and that's huge. To start the game that quickly is something this team really, really needed, I think, because if you start slowly, then you start to question yourself. You start thinking, hey, okay, maybe we should have came a little bit earlier. Maybe I'm a little bit tired. You're up to, 14-3 lead. I think that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. But, the Steelers, you can never make it an easy win or comfortable for fans. They have a huge lead, but of course, down the wire, it, not blows it, but a little bit. Vikings score back-to-back touchdowns, and just like that, they're within 3. It's just unfortunate to see that happen, but I guess it is a positive sign that they came out fast the way they did. But it would just be so nice if the offense could, play solid, consistent football for all 4 quarters. And I know that fourth quarter wasn't really on the offense, but it's just it's crazy when you look at the numbers. In the opening quarter, they were outscored like 14-3, or they were outscoring the Vikings 14-3, and then that final quarter they got outscored 15-3. So.
Yeah, the final 2 drives of the game went 70 yards and 99 yards, not counting the late interception. I believe Pierre had it. So you're looking at close to half the yards coming in a critical part of the time, and that's just that's really unacceptable. If you're really a division-winning team or have aspirations of being a division winner, you cannot allow something like that to happen. You have to step on those guys' throats when there's an opportunity, and it seems like they let that get away. I'm not going to blame it all on miscommunication. There were some coaching errors, I do believe, late in that game that helped that out. Or I don't know why they run the ball on a 4th and goal with the 4. Why don't you throw the ball? There's a couple different instances where you're shaking your head of what they're doing, but the coaches late in that game really did not put them in a proper position to be able to win this game. Considering that, they're probably lucky to win this game, because imagine what you're feeling like going into a bye week, losing that type of game, flying 10 hours over the ocean. Then, I mean, it would have to be miserable.
Yeah, especially given all the backstory, too. All week we've been talking about how much this game means to the Rooney family, and so obviously that definitely adds to the weight of this win. Guys, this is our Penn West University question of the night. Scan your phone up there, tap the QR code. Which area of the Steelers do you feel more confident about now going forward, the offense or the defense? So go ahead and vote there. We're going to head to our first break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from StatMuse. Kenneth Gainwell versus the Vikings, 25 touches, 134 total yards, and 2 total touchdowns, set career highs in all 3 categories. So like Kaboly said at the top of the show, the O-line blocking big for him today, and 134 total yards. Very, very impressive by him. I know a lot of people were very curious as to whether he would be able to fill those shoes after Jaylen Warren ended up not playing in this game. Now for the defensive side, Kaboly, those first 3 quarters, I mean, they looked wildly impressive. 6 sacks, Nick Herbig, just electric. TJ Watt's interception, like we mentioned, the wheels fell off a little bit in the 4th quarter, but that defense, it's kind of looking like that defense, especially the front too, that defense that we've all kind of been waiting to see.
Yeah, the entire front 7, really. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Cam Hayward had a stat, and that's surprising because I do think he had an effect on the game. But you have Benton, I thought, played well. I think Harmon played well, but I mean, we'd have to be remiss not to mention those 2 inside linebackers. I think Peyton Wilson was really good today, and I think Patrick Queen, if he had a defensive MVP of the game, it would have been him. He just seemingly was everywhere. But the back half is, that's what we all thought was going to be the strength of this team, and it wasn't today. Right now, maybe it's injuries. Who knows what it really is right now? But you have to like where they're at with that front 7, and they finally seem to have it figured out to at least to a degree where they're able to put pressure. They had 6 sacks again today. That's another turnover or 2 today. So I think if you figure out the back half, then you have a full defense. But until then, you're going to have like what happened in the last 2 possessions of the game. You're going to have Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson putting up a combined 250 yards receiving on a defense or a secondary that really didn't play that well.
But like you said, too, I think some of that is injury related. Obviously, JPJ is out. Jalen Ramsey also got a little dinged up. He had that hamstring. He was holding his hamstring and then hit the gritty in the end zone. And everyone thought he was making fun of Justin Jefferson because in 2022 against the Bills, Justin Jefferson did that. He faked a hammy injury and did the gritty. But, I mean, it looks like it might have actually been something because Jalen Ramsey reportedly was struggling with a hamstring discomfort throughout the game. And then Darius Slay looked like he got a little banged up and obviously gave up that 75-yard bomb to Jordan Addison. So, yeah, I definitely think the secondary needs to be fixed, but I do think some of it is.
Yeah, you had James Pierre playing late in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a very good sign right there.
Got called back.
James Pierre is able to play like that, so.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some callers. We have Keith in Dormont. Keith, what's going on?
Thanks for taking my call. Hi, Cassidy. Hi, Mark. Got a quick question for you. Wanted to get your take. Kelvin Austin III, he's fast, and he has a lot of speed. And I know they have plays that they can use in the playbook to get him more deep down the field to spread some of his passes downfield. I just wanted to get your take on that and see how you felt about that.
Well, he had a great block today for DK as he was getting into the end zone there. And then later in the game, he actually left with a shoulder injury, and it's reported he left by ambulance to a hospital and was getting checked out at the hospital today. So still no updates right now on Calvin Austin. Obviously, hopefully that shoulder isn't super serious. We were discussing that maybe because they are abroad, that's just how they handle it. They had to take him to the hospital, and maybe it's not as serious as we're thinking. But yeah, I agree with you. I think we've seen it in the first 3 games a couple times. Calvin Austin going deep against the Jets. He had a score that way. So, I do think the issue is, when you have DK on the other side, he distracts. And sometimes the DBs will follow DK, and that frees up Calvin Austin. So that's positive.
Yeah, I think that's what you saw today on the Metcalf touchdown. He cleared the entire left side of that defense for DK Metcalf to be able to run deep over the middle and able to run for that long run. So sometimes they just use him as a decoy, but I think he's good enough to be able to play and be significant as well here. So I think they really need him. Hopefully he's not injured, because you look after he went out, you didn't go Roman Wilson, you went Scotty Miller and Ben Skoranek, and I don't know if that's a little bit of a worry or not.
Yeah, that's also very interesting, Mark. That is true. We were all kind of anticipating Roman Wilson would be that next guy up, but Scotty and Skoranek are both as well. So, all right, let's go to John in Westmoreland. John, what's going on?
Good evening. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Hey, I just had a quick question. Does that blocked field goal count as a miss against Boz, and why? Because it was clearly not his fault.
Yeah, it's considered a missed field goal.
Yeah.
It's just part of the rules, I guess. I guess he kicked it, and that's considered a missed field goal. Just like it's not considered a blocked punt unless it goes behind the line of scrimmage. It's just one of those quirky rules where he gets penalized for something that really wasn't his fault.
Yeah, and Muth was visibly upset about that afterwards. I believe he might have missed a block, and he went over to the sideline and looked at the tablet and was visibly upset about that. And, Muth, that's another interesting one. He's really not in the game as much as we kind of anticipated he would be this season. I think he had one of the lowest snaps, just one above Jonnu today. Yeah,
the thing is I think they wanted to go heavy today. They went with the third tackle, the jumbo tackle, and they went a lot with the fullback of Connor Hayward, and they went with the big Darnell Washington. So I think the plan was, I don't know if it was before Warren or after he was ruled out, but they wanted to go heavy against this defense, which is surprising because that defensive front is pretty stout. So that's probably why, if you look at it, why he did not play that much.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, let's go to Michael in Beaver Falls. Michael, what's going on?
Hi, Cassidy. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
What's up?
How about them Steelers? Hey, my question is, if they continue to gel, the young bloods and the older guys, do you think they'll have a pretty good chance to make it to the playoffs?
Michael, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. Look, they're 3-1 heading into this bye week. I think that's probably the best case scenario we could have all predicted at the beginning of the season. Through these first 4 games, look, this entire week, a lot of people were looking at the Vikings and looking at the Steelers and saying, I'm sorry, but I got to go Vikings on this one. They just have a lot of dudes, and their defense is playing incredible, and they have Justin Jefferson. They have all these weapons for the Vikings, and so a lot of people were thinking that this was going to be an uneven matchup, but clearly the Steelers came out and really dominated those first 3 quarters.
Yeah, especially after the Vikings dropped, 50 points on the Bengals last week.
Right.
So, they're in essence, a 2-game lead in the North already through 4 games.
Right.
But, we got to taper our enthusiasm. Well, it's Pittsburgh. We never have enthusiasm about this team. We always want to complain about something. However, they did have a 3-game lead with 3 left last year and see what happened there. But I still do believe that this roster is a better roster, and I think obviously Aaron Rodgers, who's just been spectacular in my eyes, he's the MVP of this team right now. As long as he doesn't get hurt, I think, they have a very good chance of making the playoffs. They have a very good chance of winning the division. Baltimore looks like a mess right now.
Yeah, lost to the Chiefs big today. That was insane. Lamar out with an injury as well. So we'll keep our eye, obviously, on the AFC North as this continues to pan out. Remember, scan your phone, tap that QR code. Which area of the Steelers do you feel more confident about going forward, offense or defense? So far, the offense is winning. But yeah, we're going to head to our last break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Cassidy Wood, joined alongside Mark Kaboly. And Mark, I got to talk about that. We got to talk about that fourth quarter a little bit more, because the other concerning thing is the Vikings starting center left the game with a concussion. Then their backup center left the game with an injury. So they moved their left guard to center and brought someone in at left guard. So in that fourth quarter, when they scored back-to-back touchdowns and the defense looked like it was falling apart, the Vikings offensive line was a mess at that point. So I'm just very concerned, is this defense ever going to be able to put together 4 solid quarters of football?
Well, I think so, just for the fact that there are a bunch of veterans on this team, on this defense especially. And if anybody's going to get better as long as you're around each other, I think it's more veterans. Now, if there was a bunch of young guys, I would be a little bit hesitant. But I think that they have an opportunity here just because of their age and how long they've been in the league to be able to figure it out and continue to get better. They just need to have some time together. They need some snaps together, just something they haven't been able to consistently do from, training camp on. I mean, they didn't get much opportunity in training camp due to Tomlin, and they have pretty much been injured from the start of the season. So, yeah, I'm not too really worried about the defense right now. I'm still worried about the offensive line maybe, but not the defense.
So kind of going off of that, I mean, obviously this is an earlier bye. They're on a bye this week. Do you like or not like the timing of it this year?
What do they say? There's never been a bad bye.
Yeah, that's true.
So it seems like it's hitting at a good time because there's so many people injured until week 12 rolls around and there's a bunch of injuries again, and you're like, boy, I could really use that right now. So right now it's perfect for them until we get later in the season when they could use it again here. So it's hard to really say right now. Yeah. But they do got a bunch of people injured. You'd imagine a bunch of those guys will be back. If not all of them will be back, maybe even Highsmith for the Cleveland game here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that would be huge because Highsmith, another huge loss for this defense right now. All right, guys, that is the result of the poll. You feel more confident about the offense over the defense. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'll see you next time, same place, same time.